Yo, right? Fasting for survival. Now, this goes a long way. All right, so yeah, where's my camera? At? My camera's over there. Okay, all right, well, because it looks like I'm looking that way, but I should be looking this way, but I'll look this way. All right, so fasting for survival, right? It goes a long way. Fasting for survival, fasting to live long, fasting to prevent disease, fasting to fight disease, fasting for optimal health, fasting for willpower, fasting to become successful, fasting for those things that I've mostly listed, of which we've come across. Fasting because that's the new thing. Fasting because it was written in the book, so we have to follow it. Or you trying it. Fasting because, oh wow, it's on a commercial, I have to try it. Fasting because my friend did it and it worked for her or for him. Fasting because it made me feel good. Fasting because just because. But how about fasting for when shit hits the ceiling? Oh, when how about fasting when shit hits the fan? When the fan's moving, spinning. Because when shit hits the fan and it's spinning, that means shit flying all over the place. And what do I mean by that? So there was a book called The Fall of America, and it said that the US has yet to even experience oh my gosh, has yet to experience um war in its own land to where the whole United States of America is feeling it, to where homes are being destroyed, to where the National Guard, police, army, navy, marines is fighting amongst ourselves, which means it's the civilian people. So it's not even a civil war, it's a war of survival. It's a war of captivity, putting people in camps. It's a war of famine. That's the word, famine. The USA has yet to experience famine. So if we look at what's going on now, it's been going on. It's just at a higher rate. But the technology and the cameras only reveal what is already going on. So when you're fasting for survival, you know, why is it that books are so awesome? Because I have this book in my hand, and this book right here is an awesome book to have because there are people out there who are experienced in police, been in the Marines, Army, and the Navy, and special ops, and then they become mercenaries. So these are masters, not only at killing, but masters of survival. Why? Because this book right here, Soldier of Fortune, The Guide to How to Become a Mercenary by Davies. Now I read this book and it is one of the top training books that you can actually get your hands on just to lose weight or just to get in shape because I looked in here and it's the same thing. It's similar training to my personal training books. But not only that though. You see, because when you're fasting, when shit hits the ceiling or the fan in the United States of America, food is not as optimal going to the supermarket or the corner store or ordering. It won't be as easy as to get your hands on. So establishing a routine, walking, running, week one, week two, week three of training, food, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, okay, you may not be into guns and stuff like that, but you cook, so you will have to learn how to use your knives, your forks and spoon, and butter knife for survival. Let's say you are a woman who lives alone, and you have no sense of survival, no sense of survival. But if something happens and that person that was waiting for a moment to get their hands on a pretty lady when the police and all that or some people to protect you are not there to protect you, are not around, that is a great opportunity for people who are predator, the predatorial mind, to get their hands on you and do whatever as they please for whatever reason and forever how long. And then guess what? And then probably most likely leave you in some situation where you'll probably die or kill you. Real shit, right? And then you have so then you have people, we hear this all the time, where there are videos where they said the UN goes into other countries, they send forces into the other countries, these small islands take over, and all of a sudden it's being revealed that the women there are being raped by the army, the navy, the marines. Like, do you not process this in your mind that these are the people that they sent from here? So these are people who, like, the human body has needs: hunger to satisfy the stomach, sex to satisfy sexual urges, mental to satisfy, oh, ooh, thirsty, minerals, vitamins, all of that stuff like that, killing. Things that you do often, our body has a natural need when it comes to survival. And if those people have a, or certain people have a certain level of authority over the land, they kill the men and save and sacrifice the women and the children. Like come on, like we're in a time now where they said pedophilia should be out there. Like what? What? These are minds that are walking around us. And if you're not even, see, what I don't like, but what I have to humble myself is that maybe those who just can't see it, like yeah, these people want to make these things the rights, but you don't realize that people like this walk around all the time thinking like this, and these people prey on weakness. Okay, and how do they prey on weakness? They clock you. That's how they do it. So now do you have martial arts training in this book, right? You have ways of camouflaging, meaning like you don't have to go buy and put on a ninja suit or put on some camouflage, but let's say it's good to have some army gear, army pants, army boots with water protecting or snow protecting or cold or warm protecting in your closet, construction helmets, so you can blend in some way, some sort of, so you can say, okay, I know what's up, but at the same time, be aware, because those who do not have or don't have the survival kit that they need to survive in such as a disaster, let's just say, a hurricane took your whole community down. You ever thought about that? Like remember Hurricane Sandy was over here. I seen the water come up over the houses. I was like, damn, man, I ain't got no survival kit, but I know how to fight and I know how to fast. So you see, so then going forward, having a bicycle, because a bicycle is quiet, so you can speed through situations or get to areas faster. If you don't have a bicycle, you're fucked. Yeah, this video is pretty raw. Um, Surveillance, things like, okay, this may sound stupid, but like binoculars, maybe hunting knife, some string, so first aid kit. Like in the time of survival, ain't nobody gonna ask you, are you certified or licensed to carry this stuff? If you in this time of survival, basic stuff: Tylenol, um, a pack of lighters to put in your it's called a to-go bag, in your bag. So you go in your house and grab it and go. You know, um, Cat litter, because toilets ain't gonna be working. So when you take a shit, you're gonna have to cover that shit up with some cat litter. Sounds funny, but real talk. Things to start a fire. And like certain things, like, and this is where vitamins and supplements will come in handy. Like every time I buy a vitamin, I buy an extra and I just put it in the bag. Simple. Weekly, I buy cheap stuff, but my bag is pretty decent. Like if they said let's go now, I'll go. I'm out. Um, you have things like and it's having a mentality, like, so I like to go paintballing. So they like to, I mean, they like to, but the law is a law when you go to paintballing. If you come with your own gun, it has to be at a certain level, because you know why? That paintball can penetrate, meaning that paintball can actually be a weapon. So if you're thinking on a level where it's like, yo, I gotta protect, I don't have a real gun, but I can keep people away just by firing at them, paintballs at them, you can tweak your gun so that it can be very lethal. Things like BB guns, um, airsoft guns, things like that, you know, they can do some serious damage. Uh, Carrying extra batteries, that extra stove, so it gets to a level. Now, this book was written in what languages, where and how to find work, how to understand and apply the most modern tactics, what languages to master, which weapons are preferred, and how to disappear after you've completed your job. People actually reading this and studying this, like we hear people are getting killed all the time, and we don't know who did it, but don't you know they're being paid to do it? But at the same time, they're masters at doing it. That's why they get paid to do it. In this world, you can get paid to do something that is seriously demonizing to the human population and get away with it because you're so damn good at it. We see the Hitman movies, but the only thing with a Hitman movie is that it has to be fun to watch. It can't be a documentary like, but it has to be put in a way where it's a beginning to an ending, and then a part two and a part three, then they close it. It's just for entertainment. But part of that is real. Like these hitmen people are living a very quiet, civilized life. And how you don't know who they are? Because they follow the law of and the rules of being a hitman, which makes them so great at what they do. Because in order to be a hitman, you have to be precise. You have to know math. You have to know which way the wind is blowing. Shut up, phone. So, anyways, you have to, where's your emergency context? Know when to get out and know when to run. Keep your weapons clean. A M4, a backpack, or weapons, sleeping bags, and sleeping mat. Do you have these? Body armor, uh, gas mask. You see, so route planning. Do you have a compass? Because why do people get caught? Because they just don't know which way to go. So they end up running where the masses run to. Now, let's say you have a survival kit. The one who is prepared to survive, to have a survival kit, the one who's fasting means you have everything that you need. The one who's prepared to survive in a time of trouble can sustain themselves without getting caught. That's the basic thing. So so when I would never mind. So when people are delved into TV and entertainment, there is something else going on. And but the masses usually find out later. Oh, did you see what happened? We've been knew that was kind of going on because we read the book years ago. So we're mentally prepared for it, physically prepared for it. So if you have a disease, and when I say disease, if you're always getting colds, headaches, muscle cramps, like I keep an eye out for that because as a personal trainer, we have to have a first aid kit. We have to do blood pressure and all that stuff like that. But as a personal trainer, like I train to become stronger, but at the same time, I'm aware of like who's who and who can't fast and who hasn't fasted, or who keeps catching headaches, who can't go without one meal, who can't go without one day of not eating. Certain things, different, who has to work out, who can't work out, and all that stuff like that, who can't lift themselves. Have you ever thought about carrying your friend or your family member across the water or across something? If they hurt their leg, can you carry them? Think about that. So these are choices that you're going to have to make if you want to live in a time of famine. Because if you crack that can open in that book, Fall of America, if you crack that can open, people from 6 blocks to 6 miles away who hasn't had a food will hear that. They, oh, I heard. It don't sound like no gunfight. Don't sound like no smoke on the sun. People see light there. People are drawn. It's called ASM, acute sensory mechanism. Now your brain is turned on to be acute, to be sharp, thinking on exactly what it is that you need to do in a time of famine and trouble. What? So the soldier of fortune is not just a soldier of killing. A soldier of fortune is the soldier, he's a master of survival. He's a master of staying in one place. He's a master of sustaining, of sustenance. Is a master of supplying himself or herself with food. Is a master of retrieving. Is a master of walking long distances with 50 to 70 pounds on their back. Is a master of learning which way to go, the route planning. Is a master of using maps. Is a master guide. Is a master of where they are in a location. Is a master of communication. Is a master of so many different things that if they wanted to leave you, they know exactly when to leave you because you would be a burden to them moving forward. So these are dope things. Like I know it's kind of crazy, like a lock picking kit. Like, yeah, what would I do with a lock picking kit? Yeah, in a time of famine, you need to get in a vacant home to see if they have some cans there, or maybe get some sleep there, or light a fire there, or see if they got some food there, or something there, or some type of closure away from internal war. Now, I didn't come up with this stuff. This is a book that was written in like the early 1900s, and it's going on now. So when we're in a state where like we see like they're focused on trying to build a wall to keep Mexicans out, and they're there's wars popping up, and then cold wars popping up all over the place. So when your basic I'm reading this book, so when your basic skills, um who's watching? I see a number popped up. So I'm if you just popped on, I'm talking about this book, Soldier of Fortune, Fasting for Survival. So it's really about I'm talking about not just fasting, but not just fasting, but being able to sustain yourself. Fasting is about sustaining yourself. So when we're in a country where it has not seen famine yet, or and it's coming to that, I don't know when, but this is a book that I've read years ago. If you're not prepared for survival, then you can get caught. You can definitely get caught. And what happens is that um, people are trained for this. They train for this. They may not see it, but there are people who are trained for this, who are mentally prepared for this. And like I said, like these people aren't trained just to kill. They train for survival. And it's good to have your hands on books. So when the masses of people are into clubbing and stuff like that, I didn't say clubbing was bad. If you need to go get your dance on, go get your dance on and get out of there. But just know that if a trampede or something like that happens in the club, do you know which way? Do you know where the exits are, etc. So I'm looking at some pictures in here, which is real life situations. So if there's a fire next door, do you know before firefighters get there? Do you know how or what to do to at least to attempt to actually like fight the fire or save the people or something? Fasting has a lot to do with not just health. Fasting has a lot to do with sustenance, sustaining yourself, maintaining yourself um, in situations. So when you're fasting, it should not be looked at as a bad thing. When you're fasting, it should be looked at as a great thing because the world has commercialized eating to a point where everyone can't go with a day without eating. Not everyone, but the masses of the people cannot even go a day or two without eating and say, I'm fine. It's different when you're on your nutrition. You're like, you know what, I actually need this to sustain my body because of the level of work that you do. And if you know how to fast, it's a good thing because then you know exactly what to do. So I'm not speaking of you. I'm speaking of the ones who when they miss one meal, they get a headache. So it's very good to be aware of who's in your surroundings and who's in your circle. So fasting for survival. That's just one of the books I wanted to share with you. All right. So take care. Peace. And if this video inspires you, then awesome. If it doesn't, that's good too. If you liked it, that's good. If you didn't like it, that's good too. Thank you for watching. Peace. And where's the X button?